Hi, everybody. Dan Oman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 9 at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Derby Saturday. It's the Grade 2 American Turf. We're going a mile and a 16th. $600,000 is the purse. Let's take a peek at the overflow field of 3-year-olds. We got 14 in the body of this race, 3 also eligibles, and we've got another Appleby Dottori Godolphin entrant. The 5 Legend of Time, riding a 3-race winning streak in Dubai, is going to take his show on a road.
Yeah, shipping over here. We're used to these horses shipping over yet and running really, really well. Won't be surprised when that's the case with Legend of Time either. To me, this horse has looked really good right from the start.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for the American Turf Stakes. We're expecting a pretty solid pace in here. Laganos, Mike, came from out of it in the Transylvania, his turf debut. He has shown some speed on occasion. I find it hard to believe that he's going to be on the lead. I do see Formidable Man being close to the pace. I think Neat, the 6, can be close as well, as can the 10 Set, who is off the pace on our pace projector. I'm not sure this pace is going to be that hot.
Yeah, I'm not either. I didn't necessarily look at it the way, but it certainly could be because you're right. Laganos, they rated him last time, but they could certainly go forward this time if they wanted. Neat, they always want to rate Neat, but he doesn't always cooperate. He's a really hard horse to handle early. We'll see what happens. Formidable Man, to me, is not going to be trying for the lead in this race, but it'll be forward. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I didn't necessarily think it had to be fast.
Personally, I think Twirling Point's going to try to make the lead from the inside posts under Florent Giroux. It worked 2 starts back at Santa Anita when he went gate to wire going a mile, beating Formidable Man. And in the rushaway last time out, he didn't break very well as the favorite, and that's why he was so far off the pace. He came with a decent run that day. He's a little underrated.
I agree. I think he ran pretty well last time on a different surface. He took advantage when he won 2 starts back, but I still liked the way that he finished that race off. His prior turf start, the Eddie Logan, nothing wrong with that performance. He's behind one of the horses who's back in this field, but this horse ran pretty well. And that race too, does he have to move forward again to beat this field? I think he probably does, but he's very well posted with tactical speed and upside.
Tracari is the number 2, and while both of his lifetime victories have come on the all-weather, including the aforementioned Rushaway where he beat Twirling Point, he's run well on turf in the past for trainer Graham Motion, and he's another horse that has the tactical speed to work out a trip.
He does. I think he can get the right trip in here. I think he's a horse who might get overlooked a little bit in this race. And I know he got run down 2 starts back on the grass. Then I thought he ran great in that race, doing all the dirty work. A horse came very late and just nailed him on the wire. But that was a good performance. His pedigree suggests he's a turf horse. He's got tons of turf in his pedigree for a really good trainer. He's going to run better in here, whether he wins or not.
Steve Asmussen, it appeared, tried to make Laganos a Derby horse after winning a 2-life race at Churchill Downs, an off-turf race last fall. It didn't work out in a couple of preps at Oaklawn, so back to the turf where he won his career debut in fine fashion, and he ran okay in the Transylvania. I thought all in all the trip worked out for him, but he was running on at the end.
Yeah, I agree with all that. The trip really did work out for him. Listen, I think the first 4 finishers, 5 in total from the Transylvania, are back in this field. So you have to go back and look at it and decide what you want to do with those horses. And if you want to use any of them, you got to decide which ones you want to take, because they were all pretty closely bunched at the end of that race, Dan. I thought Laganos ran fine. I also felt like he had one of the better trips in the race. But I do think he's a turf horse. I mean, they tried him on dirt, but he's a turf horse. This is his surface.
Formidable Man is the number 4, and this horse is coming off of a likable victory at Santa Anita in a first-level allowance race for Michael McCarthy. He got right up close to a moderate pace in here, takes the lead, turning for home. It looks like they're going to surround him, Mike, but he's got plenty left under the line.
Love the way he finishes this race off. He did get a good trip in here, but he's just going to run away from They all took a shot at him through the stretch. He's going to run away from these horses late, and he wins, I thought, very convincingly 2 starts back. He just got a horrendous ride in that race and turned Twirling Point loose on the lead, then couldn't catch him, but he actually ran really well. His first 2 career starts, they were really good, Dan. His debut was a really good performance. He wasn't going to beat endlessly in the Zuma Beach, but he had tons of trouble late in that race. He was going to be very close at the end of that race.
Legend of Time, the number 5, comes in off a 3-race winning streak in Dubai, including this effort in the Jumeirah Classic. Now, he was a very short price in all of his races in Dubai, but He looks like a horse that should be a short price. He's just cruising into the stretch, swings by the leader, and goes about his business to win by open lengths. The runner-up Diz already run in North America. He ran fifth in the Transylvania.
Yeah, he did. He wins this race really easily, though he did get a good trip in here, but he's way better than his stablemate in this race. That was also the case 2 starts back where he kept a pretty fast pace in range and won. He overcame a wide trip in his first start back. He won that race easily. His debut was a serious performance without a great trip, and he just got there. I don't know, Dan. You have to. The Transylvania is probably the key race to decipher. Decide what you want to do with those horses first. This is the horse to beat, in my opinion.
Now here's the Transylvania winner up next. That's the number 6, Neat, who is 4 for 4 on turf around 2 turns. Transylvania was kind of an interesting race. Boy, did he pull hard going into the first turn. He just didn't want to settle for the first half mile. And eventually, Raylu Gutierrez got him covered up briefly in the pocket. The rail opened up. He came with a good, strong run, and he just got it done. Curious to think about your opinion on that trip because there were some points where it looked like it was really tough, and there were some points where it looked like it was really good.
Yeah, for the most part, it was really good. But you do have to take into consideration the first 2 or 3 furlongs of the race where he refused to settle, pulled his way to the lead, finally got wrangled into the pocket, and then he does sit a good trip here, and he does come clear with time, and he does come very gamely between horses to just get there. I like this horse, Dan. I like all of his turf races. I'm not surprised that he ran well in the Transylvania. I personally, my opinion on the Transylvania, and we can talk about it more if you want. I kind of don't want these horses back, but I think they're all pretty good. I'm looking in a different direction this time. I'm a big fan of this horse, though.
Just got up to the inside of Cugino. You saw Laganos, who was also circled, come with a run on the outside to finish third. Stay Hot is up next, and this horse has won 4 of his last 5 on the turf. The only blemish coming in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile turf. No embarrassment there. Here's Stay Hot's most recent race, the Pasadena. He only faced 3 other rivals. The pace was predictably slow, and Stay Hot had to work a little bit to get it done, but this is who he is. He wants to beat you. He likes a dogfight.
He does, and he gets any kind of a trip in a race too. He can sit back and make a run. He can race closer to the pace if he has to. He's got to dig down here, but he's getting the job done here. He's not letting this horse up the rail get past him. That's Lord Bullingdon right to his outside, who's also in here. That horse ran well in that race. I don't know. I mean, I don't love Stay Hot in here. I see him at 10-1 on the morning line, though, and I say I could use this horse somewhere.
I really liked Lord Bullingdon going out of the Pasadena and into the Transylvania. I was stunned he was 33-1. All in all, he ran okay. He was 4th that day. I'm not sure there was a ton of excuses that worked against him, but he's the kind of horse that has run some honest efforts, and he's another one that's adaptable to the pace.
Agree. And I feel like if you just go back to the Transylvania, and even if you say you want the 3 horses that finished ahead of him, maybe you want them or prefer them more. But this horse did get a wide trip in that race, and some of the others did. I mean, Lagano's got a perfect trip in there, and Neat also got to save a ton of ground. This horse was on the outside the entire way. I liked the way that he was staying on. I mean, again, don't really want the Transylvania horses back in this race, but if I took one, I might take this one.
Todd Pletcher as the 9 noted, who overcame trouble to win the Pulpit 3 starts back as the favorite. And then he kind of disappointed a little bit as the Chalk and the Kitten's Joy on turf. I will not hold the Jeff Ruby stakes against him. They ran him on a synthetic surface. He was close to a very fast pace. Interesting that Todd's putting the blinkers on. I'm not sure I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that either. I don't like his last race either, even though it was on a different surface. Maybe there are enough excuses to go around. I don't know. I'm with you. I thought his Pulpit was good. I don't really like anything else he's done.
Set is the number 10, perfect from 2 lifetime starts for trainer Mark Casse, including this victory in the Cutler Bay Stakes as the odds-on favorite. In his debut, he went right to the front. In the Cutler Bay, he sat off one other horse, he makes the lead in the stretch, and he keeps on going. He seems like a very likable colt, although in both of his races, the paces were relatively slow. He might have to go a little bit faster early to secure this kind of position.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the pace plays out, though, because if it's not that fast, he could really find himself in a pretty good trip. I mean, I find it impossible to knock what he's done so far. I really like each of his first 2 starts. I realize this is a tougher race for him. I'm not so sure he isn't going to be up for it.
The 11 Cugino, like noted, is going to get blinkers for the first time. This one for trainer Shug McGahee. He was a debut winner from off the pace, and since then he's raced 3 times, and he's lost by a length in each of them, including the Transylvania, a race where he broke from the far outside post, was forced very, very wide going into the first turn. And Javier Castellano did the right thing. Listen, you can't stay out there 6 wide on the back stretch. So he rushed this horse up into contention. He had the lead turning into the stretch. He took him down to the stripe, so to speak, and he just got nailed by Neat.
It's a tough beat for this horse last time. It's pretty easy to go back and watch the Transylvania in full and just say, Cugino ran the best race and he got really unlucky and got nailed on the wire. I don't really disagree with that, Dan. It's 3 times in a row now, though, where he's been right there at the end and he didn't get the job done. Now he's got the outside post again. We'll see what kind of trip he can get. He can win here. I'll wait and see what kind of price he is.
The 12 is Abrumar, who beat Cugino twice at Gulfstream and then bounced right back to win the Colonel Liam over Legino. Abrumar looked pretty good in that race. He beat a couple of next out winners, and he did so on the lead, but he's also versatile to win from off the pace. He's very game. Cugino has his shot at him, Mike, and can't get him.
Yeah, I just can't get by him here. This horse digs in gamely and wins. Listen. I'm probably underrating this horse, but each of the last 2 wins when he took down Cugino, I just thought this horse had all the best of it and maybe took advantage a little bit. But who's to say he can't get another good trip in here and move forward?
Can Group the 13 ran 6th in the Transylvania. He broke from an outside post. He tried to rally from far back, but it was a race where you saw closers for the most part did very, very well. His prior turf outing, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, I thought was pretty good, all things considered. He was running on at the end. He's just a one-run closer that needs a little bit of pace and race luck.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can't really give him any kind of an excuse for the Transylvania. I did think that he ran well in there, but you can't give him an excuse because that's the trip he's going to get. He's going to get that trip in here too. He's going to be way back off the pace, try to circle up around the turn, and then run on through the stretch. His turf form is actually really good. It's all about trip and pace.
It's a lousy post position for the 14 Agate Road, but he might be one of the more naturally talented horses in this race. His Dania Beach, he was wired as the favorite that day in the slowest of slow-paced races. He had absolutely no chance with his one-run running style to win that race, and he still ran quite well. They've run him on dirt in 2 subsequent starts. He is dirtied up coming into here and might be the best closer of all.
I agree with all of that stuff. Then it's unfortunate that he got hung out in post 14 here. We'll see what kind of trip he can get. He's a turf horse. His turf form is actually really good, and he's not a horse to take lightly in here. I don't think I would. They had him 5-1 morning line. I don't think I would take that price. But this horse, this is his surface. He's a good horse.
15 through 17 also eligibles. Have to admit, not really in love with any of the 3 on the also eligible list. Would be curious to see what we got from Dancing Groom if he happens to make it onto the turf.
Yeah, don't care if any of those horses get in. I'm not using them.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the American turf. Mike, you're going with Formidable Man. Just a nice combination of tactical speed and upside potential.
Yeah, and he's going to be a great price in here. I just think he might not get the credit he deserves. I just want to bet this horse. I feel like we disagree in this race, Dan. I don't want the Transylvania horses, and I think Legend of Time is really good, and I think he's the horse to beat, but I am going to try to beat him with the 4.
I want to give Cugino one more chance. Maybe it's just folly after failing to get the job done in close finishes in his last 3. I watched his last workout on a video. Blinkers were on. He worked in company with Integration, who's going to be running in the Turf Classic, and he just looked really uncomfortable. Jock had to pop him to get him to change lead. So maybe the blinkers isn't the answer for this horse. But he had a trip. He's 10-1 on the morning line for Jug. I want to give him a chance in here. 4-5-2-1 for Mike, 11-6-3-10 for me. It's the American Turf on Derby Day Saturday. Good luck.